Hey guys, Frodan with GameSpot at the BattleNet World Championships day number 2. I'm joined by Illusion from Quantic and Maj0r from Root Gaming. Guys, I first have to ask you, how are you enjoying Shanghai now that you guys have been here for a few days?
I haven't really been around much, but everything seems to be okay so far.
And Maj0r, what do you think?
It's okay, I guess. I don't go out too much, so whatever.
Compared to Mexico, how is it?
It's pretty bad compared to Mexico, man.
I'd assume so. Now, guys, I'm kind of asking you guys to do an interview together because we've actually had a lot of discussion about Terrans and their current state in the metagame. You guys are literally half of the Terrans here at this tournament. No Terrans in the top 8. No Terrans at IM Singapore. What's going on? Is it just simply that Terrans hard to play and it's really tough for them to really compete at that kind of level, or is it just simply a matchup and metagame problem?
Terran sucks, and it's really unforgiving compared to other races. You can get away with a few mistakes as Protoss or Zerg, but as a Terran player, like one mistake is probably going to cost you the whole game.
That's fair enough.
I think it's just harder to play because it's more time independent than the other races, in my opinion, I think. And yeah, and there's not much room for mistakes either.
That's fair enough. Actually, I want to aim this question directly to Illusion. You used to be a Zerg player back a long time ago. What convinced you to switch to Terran? Are you kind of regretting that decision to switch now that you're here at the BattleNet World Championships?
Back then, Zerg was really bad. Like, everything about it was, the Infestor was bad. I think the Queen range was still shitty. Yeah, the Queen was bad. Terran was really good. You could make 2 barracks before depot. You could make Banshee at 4 minutes. Everything was just terrible as a Zerg player, so I switched, and then I think like 2 weeks after I switched, Terran got really bad, and Zerg got good.
You actually even flirted with the idea of switching back to Zerg. What's the current state of your thoughts in that regard?
Wait until Harder Storm if I'm going to make a race switch. That's about it.
That actually brings up a good question. Juan, have you seen anything that you like from Harder Storm? You did do a Harder Storm show match. How do you like Widow Mines? Did you like any of the new things, like maybe the Hellbat?
Well, I haven't played it since then, but I heard the Widow Mine's pretty good. So I like that. I like that it's pretty good.
I would assume so too. Illusion, what do you think about Heart of the Storm stuff?
I haven't played around with it much, but I played like a few games in the past month, and the Widow Mine is like regenerating and shooting, and it's like one-shotting everything. I think it's kind of cool, but it's kind of bad because that makes TVT really bad as well, because Banshee's get one-shotted, Medivacs get one-shotted. I think mine is actually too good right now, from what I've been hearing at least. And I can't put too much input on anything else because I haven't played enough.
That's fair enough. Blizzard said they're just testing around with strength and they're ready to tweak the numbers. In fact, Blizzard's been saying that they're going to tweak a couple other things as well. Infestors have been the hot point of discussion. And we've been hearing here at the BWC from Dustin Browder himself saying Infestors are probably going to get changed, that Neural Parasite will no longer affect psionic units or even taken out completely. And that's going to affect the ZVT in terms of mech as well. They even talked about also making Fungal as a projectile instead of an instant cast. What are you guys' thoughts about that? Will that break the Infestor? Will that make ZVT really hard for Zerg again? What are your thoughts about that? Let's start with Illusion.
I think the psionic one will infect Protoss more. I think Ghost is the only psionic unit. If it is, I'm not too sure. But projectile, I remember it was in a beta patch a while ago and it never went through. I think it's an alright idea. But I think Fungal, just the spell is too strong. Something needs to be done about damage or the way it is used, like not being able to move. It should be maybe like a slow instead of keeping me in place. And I think that's pretty much all you have to do with the Infestor. And oh, the eggs are too strong. You can't, like, Marines are really good units in the game, but only for Zerg, so, like, Terran Marines are nothing compared to the infested Terran Marines.
Absolutely. What do you think, Maj0r?
Neural Parasite's not an issue against Terran, like in any way. But Fungal, more than Fungal, infested Terrans are really, really good. And Fungal is also really good, but there's ways to counter Fungal, but infested Terrans, I hate infested Terrans pretty much, a lot.
How would you change Infested Terrans then, Juan?
Remove them.
So what can Zergs really do then if they don't have Neuro and they don't have Infested Terrans?
They can have Neural.
All right, that sounds fair enough. So, Chris, a lot of people are also saying that Broodlords are the problem too because it's preventing Terran from being able to micro or push any further. Is that also a root issue, or do you feel like that combined with Infestors is what makes it strong and Broodlords are currently okay?
Broodlords are crappy without Infestors. Like, the Infestor is the scary part. You can get a sick flank and attack into Broodlords easily, or you can just stutter step and kill all the Broodlings to go forward, or have Hellions behind your army to kill the Broodlings. But if there's Infestors, you get any micro engagement, anything you can assess. Any way to negate the damage that Infestor does with micro tactics is completely negated because of the Infestor.
That's a fair enough explanation. Now, guys, I want to ask a couple more questions about BWC before I let you go. What do you guys think about, I guess, the structure of it, having North America, I guess, kind of lumped up in this, having such a strong representation? Because we had actually a good, surprising number of upsets, especially since foreigners are facing up against Koreans. Is the skill gap closing? What do you guys really think about even the current state of the scene, especially since Kespa players are now coming into StarCraft 2?
I can't really say much because I haven't been keeping up with the foreigner scene, but the foreigner players that seem to be here seem to be all right. Baby Knight beating Rain was really cool. Tiny being Korea, so I think at some points there's like some Koreans aren't as strong as the other Koreans. I think there's a gap between the Koreans as well, and the lower part of the Koreans are actually like grouped with the foreigners. But the Kespa players coming in is like it's making another separation between foreigners and Koreans. Now there's Kespa players, and then there's Americans, Europeans, etc. And just too much to differentiate and categorize.
Fair enough. What do you think, Juan?
Yeah, they did well, I think. I was really impressed with, for example, Vortex. He almost beat Creator, and Creator is really good. But I don't know, most of the Koreans here are Protoss, and they all seem to be losing to Zerg, regardless of what nationality they are. So, yeah, they don't like Zerg too much either.
That's true. I think everyone can have one thing in common. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you want to see more, check out GameSpot.com/esports for all our coverage for BWC.